Interoperability is still a major issue. Data normalization for aggregation is a massive task. What tools do you apply to make that easy and not to lock your tech stack into a single vendor and or the larger cloud sharks? So many good points here. So when I look at the sensor catalog that we have, the first point of vendor lock that happens is if I go to Dragino and buy their sensor, or I go to Vutility and buy their sensor, it's their sensor. And they're going to say, well, this is the gateway that works best with it. And then they're going to say, well, this is the app that you need to visualize the data and then forward it to where you need to go. So now I'm locked into that app and their suggested gateway, their suggested LoRa server, and then their API to get the data out. And then I go to the next product or the next vendor, and I've got to do the same thing again. So what we've done is created, actually is a really good graphic of it on our website. It's what we call our universal sensor API. So we not only have the payload decoders, which is like the most basic level of taking the way sensor data communicates and putting it into a standardized format. We can do that across thousands of sensors with our backend tools that we expose to our customers who are on our commercial plans. So you can actually go into what we call our IoT console. This will load up here in a sec. If you're a paid customer of ours and you've got a license, you've got your backend console here, which allows you to go into device templates and create unique templates for every device, and allows you to see our massive codec library here of just thousands and thousands and thousands of codecs that can be modified to translate the data exactly how it needs to be translated. So all of the data that comes in from any manufacturer comes in its own language, and then we're normalizing it within our cloud. But then we're adding business logic on top of that through our device templates. So we can say, okay, the door sensor sends a reading and now it's open or closed, but we can add business logic on top of that that says, how many times was it open? How long was it open? What hours of day was it opened the most? That sort of thing. With tank level sensors, this is critical because with a tank level sensor, as an example, you need to know, is it a horizontal tank? Is it a vertical tank? Is it a cylindrical? Is it a box? That changes the way the data is manipulated. So this is a level sensor. It's a Dragino one, could be a DingTech, could be an LNX, whatever it is, but it's getting level data from us. We're parsing out that payload to understand exactly what the sensor is sending us, but then we're able to add business logic on top of that. Is it a horizontal tank? Is it a vertical tank? Is it cylindrical? Is it cube? How tall is the tank? What's the distance from where the top of the sensor ends to where the top of the tank starts? Those are all different inputs, and those inputs can be quickly modified by changing the device template. And now when we receive those inputs, whatever is input by the user then changes the way the codec calculates that data. So these are tools that take all of those sensors that you see on our site and change them from just dumb sensors that send whatever readings, turn them into actual solutions. And now once you've got that solution set and you're getting the data that you need, which is so relieving, you're like, okay, I am getting 73% full, or I am getting the door's been open 37 times, like the actual meaningful data that you want. We've now got a full set of APIs that allow you to integrate that data, the finished data, as well as in the metadata. You're going to get all the raw stuff and everything and all the attributions to it. But we can now say, hey, I want that business enhanced data to go to Amazon S3, or I want it to go to IoT Central or IoT Hub, or I want to open up a webhook and send it wherever I want it to go into my custom app, or I want to use a REST API to pull data when I need it, or to manipulate things, or to provision devices in bulk, right? So it's such a critical thing. This is the interoperability that's needed to make deployments successful. So then when our customers come to us, like when Aramar comes to us and says, hey, we want to do all of these different use cases, space utilization, leak detection, service validation, vibration monitoring, all of these different solutions, but we want them all in our iWix Connect platform. We don't have to make all these different integrations and then teach them how to write code on their program to manipulate the data and all of that. We just use our tool and go, and then boom, we've got the solution and we feed data to where it needs to go. Simultaneously, that data is going into Power BI for custom reporting because we've got a Databricks integration and all of that that tabularizes the data into a data cube the way that it needs to be done for business intelligence.